Okay, now can you see this screen? Variables. Can you see? Okay. Actually, next one is variables. Right? So we have discussed the data type. Data type. So actually, variable is a container to hold data. Right? Variable is a container to hold data. So like you may remember in yesterday, right? So when you discuss the flow chart, right? So at the beginning of the flow chart, we keep some space to store inputs. Say number one, number two. Likewise, do you remember that? We keep some space to hold the values, to hold the inputs, right? So those are called variables. So for example, if you want to add two numbers, right? So before adding the numbers, we have to store those numbers. Did you understand it? If you want to add two numbers, say 10 and 15, before adding those two numbers, we have to store those numbers in memory. Usually we store the values in memory. Those are called variables, right? Then the variable is a container to hold the data, right? To indicate the storage area, right? So we have to use each variable should be given a unique name, right? So in order to store the data or the variable, we have to use unique name. We call number one. That is unique. That is unique means that name or that identifier cannot use in again, right? That the variable name cannot be duplicated. That should be unique, right? Like your registration number. Registration number is unique. That means your registration number cannot be duplicated. That is, your registration number cannot assign for any other student. Likewise, the variable name should be unique, right? So variable in C has specific type, right? So determine the size and the layout of the variable memory. And then range of the value can be stored within the data type. Actually, those two are belong to data type. Data type means what are the set of values and then what are the possible operations, right? Okay, the set of operation that can be applied to the variable, right? Okay, then what are the rules? We discussed those rules, right? So a variable name can only have letters, digits and underscore, right? So, but you can't start the first letter of the variable should be either letter or underscore. You can't start the variable name using the digits, right? You can't start the variable name using digits, right? The first letter of the variable should be either letter or underscore, right? And after that, you can use numbers as well, right? So there is no rule on how long variable can be, right? So there can be any number of characters, but usually we use up to 31 number of characters, right? Okay, so these are the basic type. Char. Char means storing characters, and then integer. Integer means the complete numbers, and then float. Float for precision point or decimal point, like 10.5, right? 9.75, likewise. And then double precision floating point value, right? And then void represent absence of type. That means if you want to return null values, right? Or if there is no value to return, then we can say void, right? So the variable definition tells compiler where and how much storage need to store the value, right? And variable definitions specify the data type. That means this is how we define the variable, data type, and then variable name. Data type and variable name. Or we can use a list of variables as well, right? So these are the basic types that we have discussed it, right? And then this is how we define. Say integer int I. I is the identifier, right? I means the variable name. Or int j k comma, right? Or char c, char ch1, ch2. Likewise, you can use a list of variables as well, right? So actually what will happen inside the main memory, so when you say int I, right? So if you declare int I, so there's a space allocated for variable I, like this, right? If you say int j comma k, then there are two spaces allocated for within the main memory, like this. Did you understand? Then within this space, you can store values. Did you understand it? So once if you define variable using any data type, the relevant data type or the number of memory storage is allocated. Like this. If you say int I, they allocate memory space. And then this memory space is labeled by I, labeled by the variable name. If you say int num1 here, instead of I, it says num1. If you say int, say n1, n2, then jk replaced by n1, n2, respectively. Did you understand it? Then later on, we can store the values, or we can store value within this storage, right? Like this. We can define the variable name like this. Int D, then we can assign, we can store 3 within D, 5 within F, like this, right? So here, declare D and F. Here, we declare D and F with the values, like this, right? So, using the printf function, we can print the values that we have stored. So this is here, this is the output message, right? So we have done this in the first program, and then output the integer value. Here it's a int number1. Then I assign 5 to, so these are same, right? So this is encoding header file. This is a main function, opening block. And then here I declare a variable, int number1. Then I assign number 5 to, value 5 to number1. And then here I print number1. How can I print it? Here this is message, number is message, equal. So if you want to print integer, you have to put percentage D. Then here I have to mention the variable name, comma number1. Actually, what will happen? This number1 is so this is this D is replaced by number1. Then so within this message number, and then this variable is come to here, and they will print here return 0. They will print 5. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shall I demonstrate this?
Okay.
So what about others? Do you understand this?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'll demonstrate. Then you will realize, right? Okay, I'll demonstrate, right? So this is the first input, no? Okay. Then now can you see this div C++? Can you see this? Can you see this software interface?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then how to take new file, new source file. Now I'm going to create new program, include, then standard input output header file, right? And int main, this is main method, and open close curly bracket. Then I define variable, say int, say num1. Then I assign value, say 20. Then I end the statement, right? Then I save this actually. So this is variable 1.c. You can use any file name, right? Okay. Then I execute this. right? Now there is no output, right? There is no output. Then how can I output this number 1? So likewise, I can define any number of variables, say num2. So num2 is 30. So I can define list of variables, say since all are integers, I can define like this. Say this is 50. If you want, you can define another one. Num4 is say 90. Right. So in here I define single variable. Here I define 3 number of variables with the value. Right. Then how can I print this? This is how we print it. Print. All right. So within open and close round bracket here. So I have to put message. Message for here I said number 1 is, so you can use equal sign or something like that. So you can use any message, and then here I have to print 20. Now 20 is stored in where? 20 is stored in which memory location? So if you say int num1, inside the main memory, they allocate memory location, and then that memory location is labeled by num1. Did you understand it? They allocate memory location, and that memory location is labeled by num1. Right? Did you understand it? They allocate memory location and labeled by num1, like this. Right? Like this. Right? They allocate memory location and labeled by num1. Here, int I. They allocate memory location for the integer and labeled by I. Now this memory location is referred as I. If you say here, if you say int num1, this memory location is referred as here, num1, like this. Did you understand it? Now this memory location is referred as num1. How did you understand it? This is referred as num1. Have you got it? Hello? This 564, did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Say 536, did you understand this? A14, 564, did you understand? Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then here, let's see how to print it, right? Let's see how to print it. Here, number 1, and then how to print integer. If you want to print integer, you have to put %t, and put comma, because here the D should be replaced by num1, because I want to print 20. 20 is num1. Here, actually what will happen, the value of num1, right? So this value of num1 come to here and put into there. Actually this D is replaced by num1. That's what happened. This D is replaced by num1, right? Then this is the end of this statement, and then I have to return 0, right? And then execute this, right? And then run this. Now you can see. Can you see this output? Number 1 is 20. Can you see this output? Number 1 is 20. Can you see this? Here, number 1 is 20. Can you see the output? Number 1 equal 20. Or if you want to, if you put like this, right? So you can print like this as well, printf, right? So if you put in here, say if you put D in here, D is say number 1. Now what should be the output? Now can you send me a message? What is the output of line number 8? What is the output of line number 8? The output of line number 7 is okay. So we test it. So what is the output of line number 8? What is the output? What is the output of line number 8?
20, that's it.
No. What I need exact state, exact output. What is the output of line number 7? So this is the output, no? Number 1 equal 20. So this is the output of line number 7. Am I correct here? You see, right? Number 1 is 20 because here D is replaced by number 1. So what is the output of line number 8? What is the output of line 8? What should be the output message of line 8? What should be the output? Here, first one is D. Now D is replaced by what? This D is replaced by?
Number 1.
20.
Yeah, number 1. What is the value of number 1?
20.
20. Then 20 is there. Then the usual message is
20.
20 is
number 1. 20 is
Number 1.
number 1. So that is the output. So here I put the single line comment, right? Then I compile and run. Now can you see it? Actually, here after the first output, I can put /n, go to next line, right? Otherwise, all line, same line, right? All line, same line. So that's the reason, right? Now you can see. Can you see it? Yeah. So here, number 120, and next one is 20 is number 1. Have you seen it? Did you see it? Is it okay? Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, then I'll upload this video, right? So you can test it, right? So if you want to print, say, these numbers in the same line, then how can I do that? You have to test it, right? You have to test it. So this is printing integers, You can do the same thing for the characters as well, right? Okay, for the time being, I'll create another program. Say I save the same file using, say, variable 2.3, right? Variable 2.3, and then I delete these statements, right? Now I'm going to store, say, character char, say grade, and then I put character like this. Say character is E. Right? Then now I compile this. Right? There is no error. How to print character? How to print? These are lowercase, right? Printf. Then how to print character? How to print character? Then I say grade is. Say grade is. Then if you want to print character, I have to put percentage. What? If it is character, what should be there? If it is character, that should be percentage C. Then I put, say, grade. Then it's a grade is A. Compile. Now you can see grade is A. Can you see this output? Grade is A. Can you see this? Okay. And then if you print like this, so what will be the output? Like in earlier, if I print, say, here. Now can you tell me what is the output in here? Say percentage C is the grade. Now what should be the output of, sorry, the line number 6? What should be the
A
output?
is the grade.
Sorry?
A is the grade.
A is the grade. Right? So if you say this is grade 1, say, then this is grade 1. And then if I declare another variable, say grade 2, and then if you say B, and then if you say D2. Now what are the outputs of this program? Can you tell me
B
what
is
are?
the grade.
No. Line number 6.
A grade is A.
Line number 7.
B is the grade.
Yeah, B is the grade. Simple, right? That means here this is replaced by the value of this variable, and then this is replaced by value of this variable. So both are messages. Both are messages. Right? Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next one is how to print, say, floating point. Floating points, right? So if you want to print floating points, right, then there is a formatted output called F. Right? So I use the same source code or save as say variable say 3.c, right? The floating points say float say num1. Now these are floating points, right? Say 10.58. And then there is another variable called double, right? So using double, we can store a big, what you call that, some kind of big number, right? Say 0.58. How to print this? Say printf. So if it is plot, we can use F. Say number 1, say F. Then this num1 there. Here F is replaced by num1 like this, right? And then here, if it is double, you can use double is actually long float, then we can use LF. This is long float. This is number 2. Now these two outputs are in same line, right? Since these are same line, I'll compile this and next. Now you can see the output, right? So here there is no clear output. Say number 1 is this, and then here start number 1 again, right? Actually, here here it should be number 2. Actually, end of this first line, I can say /n. Then it will go to the next line. If you put /n, it will go to the next line. After this message, it will move to the next line. This is the message number 1. Then this F is replaced by here value of number 1. Value of number 1 is 10.58. Right? Go to execute, compile, execute. Now you can clearly see the output. Number 1 is 10.58, and then by default it takes the 6 number of the points, right? Here. Again, 8,569.58. Did you understand this?
Yes.
If you want a fixed number of digits, say 0.2, then it take only 2 point. In earlier, they take 6 number of decimal points. Now I put 0.2. And I compile, then you will realize. Here you can see. Now, right now, can you hear me? Right now, can you hear me? Is it okay? Is it okay with the voice? Can you all hear me?
Sir, can you explain that again? Yes, sir.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, right now? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in here, in earlier, they print 6 digits. Actually, 6 decimal points. Right? So if you want to print only exact 2 decimal points, 2 decimal points. So in here, you can put 0.2, 0.2f. Right? So we don't need the number of digits in here because in here it should be 2, it should be 4, right? But in here we need only say 2 decimal points. Then here I put 0.2, 2 points. Have you got it? If you know 0.3, it will print 3 decimal places. Have you got it? 0.3, 0.3f here, 0.3 LF. LF means long float. Long float means double. Right? Compile and execute. Compile and run. Now you can see how it will be print only 3 decimal places. Can you see this? Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
So that's about the printing floating points, right? So actually that's what I need to explain on today, right? So now what you have to do, you have to do this programming, right? So you have to practice these things, right? So I'll upload this video, right? I'll upload this video, then you have to practice these things, right? So by the way, did you understand the things that I explained on today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then what you have to do, you have to practice all those things, right?